In this video, I'm going to go over the 5 things I absolutely hate about Baltimore and Maryland in this video. I'm holding my breath. Hey, I'm John Ruckman. I'm the Charm City Property Dude. And in this video, I'm going to go over the 5 things I absolutely cannot stand about Maryland, about Baltimore, Maryland. And I'm sure you're not going to want to miss number 4 because it's always been talked about all over the news and everywhere about Baltimore. So listen, I'm sure, let me calm down here, but I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Maryland is alluring. Don't misunderstand. I got the black eye Susans. I have a tattoo of Maryland on my arm because I love the colors of the flag. There's recreation places in every county and in the city. There are tons of things to do. If you love seafood, if you love steak, I mean, Maryland is the place for this stuff. But these 5 things absolutely drive me crazy. And number 1 on that list is lack of employment opportunities for the secondary person in the home. And what I mean by that is if you're transferring in from someplace else and you're coming into a job, say like a Dr. John Hopkins, or you're at one of the higher ends at Amazon or the DoD, that's great. However, there are no real like high-tech Google jobs. There's no big jobs at Microsoft. There's none of that stuff here in Maryland. You have the DoD, which is like the largest employer here in the state. You have Amazon, which is popping up all over the place. You have retail, but the biggest employer is pretty much DoD and healthcare, and all those jobs are secondary to the major breadwinners. So if you're looking for a secondary job that's 6 figures or more, it's really, really difficult in Maryland to have that. Now, DoD is the top employer. You got the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. You have NSA that's located in Howard County. You remember that movie with Snowden, how they said the government is listening to you. They're listening. So you also have Amazon, which are pop up. These jobs are like $25, $26 an hour. Great for a secondary source of income, but that is the number 1 thing I hate about Maryland. All right. The second thing I can't stand is the high cost of living in this state. The average sales price in any of the counties is about $350,000 for a rancher for a single family house. Townhouses are about $275,000. It used to be they were $100,000 and $150,000 respectively, but the cost of living has gone up in the state of Maryland. The houses are kind of like just outside of the price range. They've raised the interest rates. So now all of a sudden for the lower income people, there's no housing and the rents are through the roof because there's lack of supply. So that just drives me crazy. With the high cost of living, all of a sudden there's the high cost of groceries. There's a high cost of transportation. If you get a good job in the city now, you got to expect an extra cost for parking, transportation costs. So that is the number 2 thing that I absolutely cannot stand about this state. But the good news about that is it's still, while it's about 20% higher than the national average, it is still cheaper than New York, Philadelphia, DC. So you've got that. So if you're moving into Maryland, you don't want to live in the city. You think the city is the Wild West? Well, I'm here to tell you, you can come out to the county, but the cost of living in Harford County, Baltimore County, the prices of houses are about $275,000 for a townhouse and $350,000 for a single family home. All right. And if you go further south, closer to DC, it's going to be even more expensive. All right, the number 3 thing I cannot stand, nothing drives me crazier than this, and that is traffic. Traffic. It's a little less in the summertime, but it is extremely worse as soon as you introduce the school buses, okay? And then they do this ridiculous thing called the time change. That's where they adjust the time that you go to work. So now you're going to work, there's no sun in your eyes. They do that hour time change. And guess what? All the major routes are facing towards the east. I mean, 95 is north and south, but 695 is east and west. And so, needless to say, that hour time change, you got the sun right here in your eye. It's like, oh my gosh. So you definitely want to avoid everything probably pretty much all day. I mean, I was driving through Harford County in the middle of the day the other day, and it was like, okay, does nobody work? Everybody was on the roads, and it is only seems to be getting worse. Now, they've been working on 95 and 695. They're always working on it. They decided to close every bridge from Harford County to Baltimore City down to going east and west. So like all those little bridges, they closed down. They were fixing them up. So now you got the road closures on 95, and Lord forbid somebody actually have an accident. Then you mix the sun, you mix the school buses. It makes for pandemic and traffic everywhere. And that's usually about 7 in the morning to about 9 in the morning, and then again at 2 to about 4:30 in the afternoon. And there are places around town, 695 and 95, you want to avoid at those times. I get that you're going to have to travel. Now, the good news is there's a lot of back roads that you can take that you can keep moving. But for instance, my son decided to leave Virginia at 12:30. He was down there in Remington and coming north. It is about, let's call it 100 miles. 100 miles. And he went through some of the worst traffic spots in the country. 95 north into Virginia, into D.C., 495 around D.C., 295 going through D.C., and then you've got 295 coming out of D.C. All of it was jam-packed. It took him 4.5 hours to get out of D.C., get out of Virginia. So traffic is the absolute worst. So, but good news is you have to adjust your times and make sure that, you can get in and around. I mean, traffic's everywhere. I don't care what you do. Number 4, and this is a big one. I can't stand, we all talk about it, and that is crime. Well, the bad news is crime is everywhere, but particularly in Baltimore City, Forbes, the newspapers, all the news outlets love to talk about how much crime we have in Baltimore. And while there is something to be said there. There are the squeegee kids. There are the guys who ride around on their dirt bikes that just don't care about whether or not you're going the right way up a street or not. They're popping wheelies. They're in and around your cars. And Lord forbid you actually hit one of these guys because you don't want to hurt anybody. And the squeegee kids, they're out there, rain, snow, and sun. And what they do is they squeegee your window. They come up and they ask you if you say no. But if they hit the squeegee on that windshield, you better reach in your pocket and get some money. If not, they're coming in to get it after you. And we've really had a problem with that, and it is multiplied by the news. Now, Baltimore City does have a problem with homicides, but it's usually in those areas of the have-nots, okay? Everybody's killing each other down there, and it's multiplied in magnitude. So I hate that fact about Baltimore City, and we get such a bad review about Baltimore City, but there are great places in the city. But if you don't want to move in the city, you think the city's out for you, you don't have your wherewithal, you like to keep your doors unlocked and all that, then you could move to the county, and I can most certainly help you with that. All right, last but not least, number 5 would be taxation. Taxes in this state are about 20% higher than the national average. New York, Philadelphia, LA, Washington, D.C. are all higher, but we have some of the highest taxes in the country. And they charge you for your homeowner's tax. They charge you for your car tax. I got two hot dogs, a soda, and a bag of Skittles at the 7-Eleven. I had all this stuff in my arms, and the guy says, "Hey, would you like the bag to carry that out?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll take a bag." He says, "Yeah, it'll be 10 cents. Now, I got an armful of stuff. How am I getting 10 cents? I said, "No, thank you. I got it, brother." But they started taxing on bags, plastic bags. I guess they wanted to eliminate the bags. And then they got these speed cameras all over the place. And this is to help slow you down. But I'm telling you what, the speed cameras and the ticket cameras are all like a multi-billion-dollar thing. So we're constantly being taxed, we're constantly being monitored, and we're constantly spending money. It's a surprise that out of every dollar, I think we might make 20 cents. Anyway, I digress. Listen. These are the 5 things I absolutely hated about Maryland, but there are a lot of good things. There's a lot of great programs. There's like arts and festivals. There's the Pimlico when they do, the horse racing. They've got a lot of recreation places. There's a mom and pop trail. There's all these different trails you can bike, run, and jog. I mean, Maryland certainly has its allure, not to mention the history in the state and within Baltimore. I mean, there's a lot of history, a lot of museums if you're in that kind of thing. However, and if you're going to transfer here, I know it's I know this video might have been a lot of negative. These are just some of the things that I can't stand. You might be different. You might be like, I don't care traffic. I don't care about traffic. I can sit out there and like listen to the music and jam out. I don't care about the crime because I'm not moving to the city. I'm moving to the county. That's great, but I just wanted to make you aware. All right, listen, I get a lot of phone calls from folks just like you all the time. I mean, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. If you call, text, or email me any day, night, or weekend, don't worry. The Charm City Property Dude, John Ruckman, have your back when it comes to real estate. And do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. If you want to book a one-on-one consultation here, hit the bell. If you want any more information about Baltimore or Maryland or any of these videos, check out this video or check out this video or check out the channel. I'm John Ruckman, Charm City Property Dude, and I'll catch you on the very next one. Thank you very much for checking out the channel. It means a lot. Your time is important, and coming here and checking out these videos is awesome. Go ahead and check out these other videos for great content. My content is always up to date and the latest and greatest. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks again.